Session.
Dear Father in heaven, thank you for all the moisture that you're giving this county, and thank you for your watchful hand that you place over us. As I always ask, come into these chambers and help us lead. Guide our words, our thoughts, and our actions. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is the tape completely moved around here? So changes to the agenda. We are, sheriff's asked for the jail correction system upgrade to be removed. And then documents to be signed, order number 112. We're going to table that and push it out.
We're also not going to have the Umatilla National Forest update.
That's right. I think they're probably fouled up with the weather.
Yeah, and also new for this meeting going forward, we're going to disable the chat due to public meeting law because people need to make sure that when they talk, they give their name and address. And so we are disabling the chat at this time.
Okay.
So Stephanie's going to make sure that that's on the website going forward.
Okay.
So they just need to raise their hand and I'm going to watch that right here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Since Umatilla National Forest update is off, the only thing we can move is documents to be signed. So if you want to get that out
Do
of
we
the
want to do
way,
the minutes first, or citizen participation?
we could. Yeah.
We can't move the contract review board.
No, because it's
Oh,
already
okay.
scheduled.
All right. Okay.
We can do citizen participation. This is for anything that is not on the agenda. Look like we have anybody.
Okay.
Anybody online? All right, let's go to review and approval of minutes.
I have some corrections and I will give them to Heidi. They're just little typos on the January 22nd meeting. Nothing material, just
The only one,
these times.
yeah. Wait, where did they go?
You just thought you had there.
Did I grab my kid's disappearing ink pen?
So that I'll just show you the ones that I had. We had two extra words here. It should have been hunting.
Yeah.
And this one, discussion was spelled wrong. And that should have been moved. So there's.
That's the one I.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
So
that's-
I'll
yeah,
move to
just-
approve the minutes from January 22nd with the corrections that will be submitted to Heidi.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Is that the 22nd?
Yep.
January 29, special commission session minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes as presented for January 29th.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
So do we want to do we do the OSU quarterly invoice review?
No, because it's scheduled.
No, okay.
So let's go. Baker City Fire Department letter for backup and advanced life-saving services. Look at that. I turned right to it.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on. Okay, maybe it's all right here. Okay, go ahead. So do we have a copy of the letter?
Yeah.
Did I not get that?
So this has been kind of ongoing for a year or so. Baker City Fire Department, they still have personnel that are EMTs, paramedics, and they wanted to be able to run as third ambulance or the backup when Pioneer ambulance are, when their resources are out, they would like to be able to be tapped in. I've talked it over with Tim Novotny, who is their manager,
With Pioneer?
yeah. with
Okay,
Pioneer
okay.
For a long time. I mean, we've gone back and forth on it, and Jason Neanjapal with emergency management has been working on this because they started the idea out wanting to be able to do wildland fire, and then after the chief had left, that idea has just changed to backup for Pioneer.
So do we want to include here, and maybe this will be with the ASA changes. Should we as the county get a copy of that agreement between Baker City and Pioneer?
We could it's an ASA, we could get one just to put it on file.
I think that
but
we ought to have it on file just
Yeah.
so that we know.
Just
that-
for the reference.
Yeah, just for
Yeah.
the record that we would do that. So.
Yeah, no, it'd be public because, because it's between the Pioneer, our contractor, and the city, so it's a public document. So I don't see any problem with that.
So all we're doing is letting Oregon Health Authority say that we support Baker City Fire going to Pioneer to
Right.
get a contract with them.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll move to approve the letter
I'll
as
second.
presented.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next up is order number 2025-110, appointing members to the local public safety coordinating council.
So it looks like Chastity Anderson, who is now the public health director, and Millie Joseph she was from 8A.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll move to approve order number 2025-110, appointing Chastity Anderson and Millie Joseph to the local public safety and coordinating council with terms to expire November 1st, 2028.
All second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Better slow down. Order number 2025-111, reappointing Arvid Anderson to the National Resource Advisory Committee.
Okay, so, and Arvid's been on there for a while, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll move to approve order number 2025-111, appointing Arvid Anderson to the National Resource, the NRAC Committee, with a term to expire March 1st, 2028.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Order number 2025-113, 23 to 24 Board of Property Tax Appeals Summary of Action.
So the property tax and the Property Value Appeals Board met last week, and we changed one. And so I'd like to move that we approve order number 2025-113, approving the Board of Property Tax Appeals Summary of Action.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Looks like Cookie would like to say something. All right, seeing no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Do we want to go ahead and do financial? reports?
Yeah.
Okay. Just we are moving right along.
Hey, you wanted to get to sales.
I know,
early.
I want to get on the road, so let's do this. Uh, So on the financial report, we're going to hold CO4 because I have a conflict and we need another vote. Because
Okay.
Elkhorn Hydraulics, who's owned by my son, had a $25 bill paid on CO4. So anyway, so because anyway, so we're gonna hold CO4, but I'm going to move to approve.
In this case, if you want to go on with it, because you've already stated your financial obligation to it, I think we'd be all right, but.
Well, Heidi and I weren't sure.
uh,
And so we
Well,
just thought that it
let's
would be
just-
better because
Okay.
bills have been paid and all that
They're-
stuff. And so it's just gonna be
We've all
2 weeks
looked at
out.
them,
Yeah. So
Yeah, just
anyway,
push it
so
out there.
okay, so we're gonna move to approve the accounts payable report V47, payroll reports CO5, and the January financial report.
All right, I'll second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
I
Aye, and we will table
CO4
CO4 for
Till next time.
January, or
Yeah.
January, what is it? The March 5th?
March 5th.
Yeah.
And I'll put that down for them. Okay.
Want to do
We can
commissioner
do the
update?
recycle.
Or what do you
We
want?
can do the recycle report if you want.
Yeah.
So I've been meeting with Stephen Henry and Gabriel Schmo and Barry's been involved, Barry Murphy's been involved as
Okay.
well on the new Modernization Recycling Act. And but this report is the 2024 opportunity to recycle. So that gives everything that they're doing, all the percentages and all that stuff. So Barry has signed the city one, I signed the county one, and it's been submitted
Okay,
to so we're all square with them right now. And we're in the process of working on funding and agreements for the new act that's going into effect this spring.
okay.
So that's what I have. So I signed it. You just probably have to I don't even think we have to that because I just needed one signature and I'm on the committee, so. I did it.
Yeah, I don't think so, because it's.
Okay.
verify, certify.
It's just the
Yeah,
2024
you're just,
report.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
just. you're
So there's
just
one for the city and one
attesting-
for the county.
You're just attesting to.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
And so
not,
Stephen comes and he presents it
Mhm.
all and all that stuff and things that they're doing with between Baker and Halfway and the relationship that they have is really good. And so it's exciting.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the curbside, hoping to start, I think we're supposed to start in August, but I don't think that's going to happen
okay,
because we've got to get the truck ordered. We've got to
sure,
do all that stuff. And so he's looking at probably the spring of 26.
okay. It will be neat to have.
Yeah.
Recycling.
But it's
service.
amazing to me what all they're going to cover in that Modernization Act. They're going to cover the trucking of all the recyclables to Portland.
Good,
So there's not going to be an added cost too much,
good.
just other than having another route. So
Okay.
we'll have that. So that's what I have on that.
Okay,
So you want me to talk about my East Orange Jobs Council?
yes, please.
East Orange Jobs Council is getting started up again. We had our first official meeting yesterday. We have a commissioner, 4 of the commissioners out of the 8 counties are brand new. And so we're all learning. Patty Dora volunteered to be chairman
Okay,
and this here for a second. Anyway, so hold on just a minute. Jake Siebert is going to be our vice chair.
oh, good.
And so we're in the process of looking at budgets and finding out exactly what this committee does as it works with the Eastern Oregon Workforce Board.
Mhm.
And so it's been kind of inactive for a while. I think Susan Roberts has been doing a lot of it on her own.
Right,
And so I'm not sure exactly where we're at with this. So anyway, I've gotten all the bylaws and we've gotten all this stuff and we'll meet again in
There's
April.
Oregon statutes that go along with it
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
And I
and so
need to-
that's-
And I need to look over them as well.
Yeah, so anyway, so we're working on that and so we're gonna try and have a combined meeting with the board and with the council and then go over budgets.
Good.
And so that's where we're at with
Good.
that. So it was interesting. Still not exactly sure what all this meeting is going to entail, but Patty's in charge, so.
I appreciate you taking that on because it has been inactive and it
Yeah.
really can't be by
Yeah,
statute.
so the gal that's running it from is Erin Carter and she lives here
Yeah.
and I have not met her yet. But
She's very nice. I had a good conversation with her last week, I think it was.
Okay.
And I have a training, a tech board.
So you're on tech board.
I am.
Okay, good.
So-
Because that was the question. I don't remember.
That's right.
Okay, and I didn't have
that's-
that list with me.
And
Okay.
that was a problem. They had asked me to be on your board and I didn't realize
I
that
think there's a
one approves
conflict.
the funding.
Right,
for
you
the
can't be
other.
on, right.
But since they had never met, poor Erin,
Yeah.
it took her like 2 years to explain all of this to me.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't have the committee report with me
yeah,
when we did that, so,
so the tech board has been meeting quarterly, I believe. So,
okay,
and I have one at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So,
okay.
so some of the problems, we'll try to get them straightened out as well.
So another thing that we had going on was, the America 250.
Yeah,
So basically, it's more of a marketing thing because signing of the declaration 250 years ago, next year for 2026. So trying to get everybody on board with a branded marketing.
sure.
And so like Miners Jubilee, Shriners, 4th of July's,
Mhm.
all of that stuff. Technically, it's going to be from like Memorial Day, nationwide, it's from Memorial Day to July 4th. The committee that we were talking about kind of wants to see it go all year long.
Sure.
So, incorporate all the fairs and all that stuff. So we're still meeting on that and I'll keep everybody on that one. And I met with Jessica Keys on the community initiative projects and trying to figure out where all is going on and with USDA grants and
Mhm.
rural development. So anything for rural development, for USDA funds, like I'm just going to use Baker Rural as an example, trying to get them on board with that because their address shows Baker City, even though they're outside the Baker City limits, they're at a 45% match for those funds because their address is Baker City. So
Okay,
yeah, we clarified that yesterday. And so they're going to try and go down a different road to
yeah,
get 25% match. Because 45% match on a, $1 million truck is
right,
450,000 and they don't, most of these guys aren't going to have that. So
right.
Haynes, Keating, Richland Halfway, Sumter, all those where they have their separate zip codes and they're separate,
Yeah.
they qualify for the 25% match. But if it's Baker City,
Then,
the way the rural development funds are,
Okay.
it qualifies at
Sure.
45%. So that was kind of a bummer. We found that out yesterday. But we're still trying to figure out how to work on those
good,
community initiative projects. So working with Jessica on that. And then I leave for County College today.
okay.
That's my calendar and that's my update.
Um, Let's see, I don't remember where I left off. I testified on the 4th for a passenger rail bill for the state legislature and that,
Any chance of that coming?
I think so, but it's still a lot of work. But yeah, they have moved forward with feasibility study. There is some talk now that they're only wanting to bring what would be the Pioneer line to Boise
From Portland?
no, the other direction, from Utah
Oh,
and stop at Boise. And of course, we want
Okay.
to connect, but
yeah,
there's still a pretty good momentum on it. It's not everybody's into it. So, you know, the meetings are small, but the people that are there are committed.
Mhm.
So we'll see what the new Secretary of Transportation thinks. Last, on the 7th, I had some of the veterans reach out to Rick saying that the apartment complex they lived in had been put under different management, and they were snowed in, had about a foot of snow. And I was able to reach out to them, and they were very good to work with, and they identified a contractor here. And by the afternoon, I drove by and they had them all cleaned out. So
Good.
sometimes I get to do little fun, helpful things that actually come together. I was over in Salem last week. We did the Ledge Days at the AOC building there. We did. I chaired the Public Safety Committee, and all of the bills that they are passing, everybody agreed on that, and then continuing to work on one of them's the floor for deflection to bring that up to $500,000, and it looks like that's got pretty good momentum. And then we went to full legislative committee, and we did work on the bill, and then we got that approved by Association of Oregon Counties to hunt, the ability for counties to approve hunting cougars countywide.
Do you think that has
with
bipartisan
dogs.
support?
I don't know, maybe.
I
on
got the impression
coast.
the other morning that it might not be.
It might not,
Yeah.
but I think maybe some of the people in the coastal areas that have the same trouble
Might
may,
be. Okay.
maybe for it. So we'll see what happens there. I was at the Capitol and I ran across Emerson Hamlin, who's the I'm trying to think of her title. She's with the Oregon Nurses Association. She's the government relations, I think it is. And her and I have been working together. She's been proposing one bill to improve reimbursement to small hospitals like ours. So I'm waiting to hear back whether or not that gets a hearing. And then another one that requires hospitals to give much longer notice if they reduce services. And
Okay.
so,
Let's hope that goes through.
yeah, so those are ones that I'm working on just kind of on my own. AOC said they didn't really have a county nexus, so I couldn't get them to pick it up. But I might hit up Eastern Oregon Association and see what they think.
Okay.
I had 2 hearings that I was going to testify at. They both got canceled because of the weather. So waiting until those get rescheduled.
Okay.
And then I've been meeting with Gabe and Travis. We're kind of working, well, the whole reflection team, trying to figure out how to improve and get more people in services on that. So we're dealing, trying to figure out strategies and other crimes that we can deflect on so that we throw a wider loop. And they asked us put this deflection program together on the PDQ, and we were able to do that, but now we have to kind of refine our techniques to get people in the services. So like I said, I got tech tomorrow, and I think that's all of my.
I have Christina's updates.
Oh, do you want to go through them?
Sure.
Okay.
She was planning also to testify on the Wolf Bill, the 777, but Salem shut down because of the weather, so she didn't get that done. She attended the Burnt River CWMA annual meeting in Unity. She said turnout was low, food was great, and Gussie gave a great presentation.
Hey.
She said she met several folks who will be applying for the spring EDC business grant, as at least one couple is opening a co-op non-food market gathering place with motorcycle repair on one end, bringing gas pumps back online and looking at an EV charging station. Traffic from Vail to Central Oregon is what they want to capture. She attached her wildlife services contract. you received the budget letter as well, but I attached some more thoughts. I will continue to work on this. We have a bit of time. We'd like to discuss it with the next session. So we're gonna hold on that till next session. And that was that budget message that came through on the wildlife services.
Yeah, yeah.
We talk, she just talks about the interesting string through the weekend on the wildfire maps and the repeal. So we will see how it plays out. She briefed County Council and Representative Owens' request to file an appeal for the entire county, or for all those who received a notice. Today, he urged us to move on that request so that we keep the momentum. Council would have to put up other things aside to make that happen by March 10th. And so I think she would like us to make a decision if we want to move that up for county council to work on for the appeal for the entire county. It has to be
Okay.
done by March 10th. And so I don't know what Kim's county council's,
I thought she would be, we could, she may be
we'll hold and
in-
talk to her on this one.
Yeah,
And so she and Donnie submitted their changes to the drafty draft of the Blue Mountain Fire
Yeah.
Protection. And she also included it to the 3 forest supervisors. So she's hoping to have a draft by spring. Let's see. And then did you meet Leila from Interpretive Center?
just,
Okay.
yeah, just
Yeah,
briefly.
it's just really nice to see
I
that.
have met her at one of the fire meetings before.
Yeah.
And it was really brief, and then I met her again briefly yesterday.
Okay, good. So, and then the reason she's not here today is because she's with Congressman Pence.
Oh, sure.
And so she'll report on that next time. She has a tourism partner meeting this afternoon. She's going to do the TLT meeting tomorrow. And she has a virtual meeting with Richland and Flagline Engineering for the Parkwater project. And on Friday, she has a virtual meeting on the Oregon Clean Truck Rules. And we need to squash it due to its impact to our transportation needs and cost to those who truck goods. I usually listen in as well from 9 to 12, but I see Commissioner Caseberg has Community College. So on Friday is that rulemaking advisory committee on February 21st about that. So
Okay.
she wants you to attend that one. Anyway, I'll give this to you. So
Oh,
can-
yeah, okay. She
And
she wants
then-
me to go to that.
Yeah, she
then
thinks we really
personally.
all should because that's,
Okay,
it's devastating to agriculture and
Mhm.
trucking and everything else.
Okay.
So, she has a meeting next Monday with council, sheriff, Angie, and then Dan McCozen to review a county parking ordinance for county properties, and it will come to us in session,
okay.
later. This is for encampments and such.
Oh, that's right.
And I know
Yeah.
that I talked to county council about that a little bit. And 25th, she's going to be in Pendleton all day. And for the BIC meeting, 26th and 27th, the Northern Blues All Lands Restoration Partners will hold their annual conference at Churchill School, and she's going to be there. And EOCI on the 27th, and a Sage Grouse meeting on the 3rd.
Okay,
So that was Christina's update.
all right. Yeah, remind me before we get out of here, remind me.
I'll just
Or
give that
just-
to you. I'll just give that to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've got one, but
But that has you can have that.
yeah,
Okay. Well, we almost made it.
I know. Hold on.
Mark? Well, the problem is we have a time stamped where it says contract review board. Starts at 9:45. So, so we can't do that before that. I know we can't do the public hearing.
Right, yeah.
Just take a piece of paper. That's why I've been jumping around because we're trying to get to 9:45.
Right. We had a bunch of. Yeah, we had a bunch of stuff taken off the agenda and. that would- We had the potential.
So
to get
even
out early.
though Reed is here and Fair is here, and Stacy's here, we can't go.
Let me see what we got here. Anybody need a break?
So we can't start the contract review board before we say this?
Well, not really, because when you post the agenda, you're legally bound to, when
Okay.
people. So if they want to zoom in at a certain time or show up, then
So. Okay, so do we want to just take a break for 15 minutes?
yeah, let's go ahead and break for 15 and we will re-adjourn here.
Don't want to start that.
Okay, back at
We're gonna take a break
9:45.
for 15 minutes, guys. Sorry.
I do have a bed bug situation.
Oh, there we go.
Good job.
I do. Don't even say it.
He did it.
You
Okay.
just saw the limit of my ability right there, and I may have messed it up, so.
No, we got the thumbs up from Stephanie.
Oh, good. All right, we are out of break and back in session.
You're bored back there.
I know, rowdies. All right, next up, weed, OWEB grant, OWEB.
All right, so back in like October or November, we went out for that Medical Springs grant area. They've sent it back. We have been awarded it for $74,250
Good.
for 2025 and 2026. So basically here to ask for a signature. So we can-
So the only question I have is under the payee, it has Holly's name down there. Does that need to be changed?
Yeah, it will be. They just sent me a thing to switch it over to, so,
Tara.
to, yeah.
To
either
Tara, okay.
Tara or
I
me
want, that's the
or-
only thing I saw on there
Yeah.
was that. So,
Yeah, I can. Have that done.
Yeah.
So, I'll move to approve the OWEB grant agreement 224-8206-2408 for Medical Springs Noxious and IAG Control Project 2025 for $74,250.
I will second that. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Yep.
How's everything else going? Okay.
Keep looking for grants. Keep looking for grants, huh?
Are you going to bring small sheep in to visit the courthouse? I once,
I have one named Fish, she's pretty cute.
I want-
She lives in First.
uh-huh, yeah. Well, you know, I'm just saying, things are kind of quiet around here, so maybe. All right, next up, we have juvenile crime prevention grant.
Yeah, it feels like I get to see you guys every other week now.
Well, I arranged it that way. You-
But you're not asking for money. You're getting us money, right?
I'm trying to get us money. So this is the grant proposal for juvenile crime prevention through Oregon Department of Education and juvenile crime prevention through Oregon Youth Authority. We are not sure of the actual numbers, but I would like to get started on the grant that's a biennium. And they told us to work off the numbers that we had from the last
Okay.
fiscal. And so the Department of Ed was $70,000 for the 2 years, and the Oregon Youth Authority was $41,282.
There's not a match on this, is there?
No,
Nice. So we just need a motion for you to continue with the grant, to
Yes.
continue to write the grant. I'll make a motion for, to apply for the juvenile crime prevention grant application through Oregon Youth Authority and the Oregon Department of Education.
I'll second that. And do we have any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Good luck.
Motion-
thank you.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. I will go back and get started on that
Sounds good.
right away, but I've got another one with Shannon. So this is the treatment court grant program grant application.
Yeah,
This is something that we did 2 years ago.
Yes.
And we obtained that grant to help facilitate our treatment court. And then Shannon can kind of describe what those funds have gone towards to help establish our program even further.
Okay, so we had, housing has been the big one for our participants. So we are helping them in emergency housing, first month's rent deposit for long-term stable housing. And then we also do transitional housing to help them get into the Oxford or sober homes. And then we have asked for money to help pay for random UAs.
Yeah.
It's something we're not in compliance with for the standards. However, it's been kind of hard to do because our POs do not work overtime on the weekends. They can't because of the union contract. So working with New Directions to get that set up. So some of
Yeah.
the funding's for that, to pay for the UAs and have somebody come in a couple hours on the weekends.
So how much was this grant 2 years ago?
We received 62,000.
How much are you going out for this time?
Probably pretty similar. It's
Okay.
gonna be less than 75.
Okay.
I think we're gonna ask for more housing because that's been huge and knocking down barriers for our participants in being successful. We also bought track phones. We prepaid for people that don't have phones. So they have to communicate with us and check in.
Sure.
Yeah, so, and then we also use some of the funds to send our team to training, which is new for us. It's been great.
Good.
It's really helped our team building and learning what we need to do to be in standards.
For
Can I
what?
say too, some of their expenditures have pushed our little boundary. I mean, and so with acknowledging that grant, if you could acknowledge the myriad of uses they have too, so that as we process their accounts payable, we don't have to stop them all the time. and say, yeah, you know,
So would that be in this process or in the next process when we actually approve the receipt of the grant?
when you approve the receipt of the grant.
Okay.
And I'm not so exactly sure how we're gonna word it too, but they also like,
So the-
like the track phones are abnormal for us, or
Mhm.
maybe like some sort of a gift card type thing. They have additional monies that they run through a
Nonprofit.
nonprofit, which we've discussed, and so they're kind of directing some of the really difficult things for us to process under our guidelines through there, so that it's not part of the,
Because there's not really a line item for that, correct?
right.
So the line item is not just so the line item isn't just for the grant, it's for everything that's encompassing in the grant, is that correct?
The line item is for everything encompassing.
In the grant, and so you just have to make sure that it's, okay,
Yeah, so it just, as they spoke, they've got housing and medical bills and certain things, I mean, so as long as you acknowledge the wide variety of things. then we're gonna be
Okay.
better off.
so we'll just make sure that when you guys bring that back, we have that list down,
Mhm.
and then we
Okay.
can make sure that that gets
As
in the
close as
record.
we can.
Yeah,
Sure.
You're not gonna be 100%.
Yes.
okay, perfect, okay. So I'm going to move to approve the application process for the treatment court grant program, not to exceed $75,000.
All right, I'll second that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Great.
Go
Thank
get 'em.
you.
Thank you both. You guys do.
Yeah.
Thank you for backing us up.
You bet.
Absolutely.
Both
You
of
guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Go take care of your other little issue. Okay,
All right.
I think we have Donnie online. Donnie, can you hear us?
Good morning, I can.
Good morning. Sorry, I jumped in.
Yeah, what did Donnie want?
She's on the Parks Oregon State. Park
Oh,
Board.
that makes sense.
Sorry. I'm monitoring my thing here.
Thank you. All right, next up is Donnie from the ethers of the internet.
So good morning. This is a Oregon State Marine Board grant that we receive every biennium. I don't know when it started. It was in place when I got here. We use it to reimburse the expenses for the floating restroom and also for the maintenance of the boating facilities. So the chemicals that we use in the vault toilets, some of our maintenance staff time. This biennium, it replaced the strobe that went out on our floating restroom, as well as all the tires on the trailer. So the $10,500 that they're asking to give us is used over an entire biennium. And yes, we do use every cent of it and then some.
That's for 2 years? Really?
Mhm.
It
Okay.
is for 2 years, yeah.
Wow, that just seems like not a lot of money. Okay. So
You're
this is
right.
just to proceed with the grant application, correct?
Correct. And
Okay.
I'll fill it out and then bring it in for Commissioner Alderson's signature.
Okay. I'm going to move to approve the Oregon State Marine Board Maintenance Assistant Grant application and for 10,500 for a biennium and for Chair Alderson to sign out of session.
All right, I'll second that. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Donnie.
All right, the fair small animal barn funding update and contingency plan.
Okay, this is Ron Rowan. I'm on Zoom.
Yeah,
Yep, we can hear you and see you.
Okay. Okay, great. So thank you for the opportunity to come in front of you. I think you all have a sheet in front of you with some scenarios on it. Do you have that, Chairman Alderson?
yeah, I do.
Okay, good. So we are in the process of getting bids for the small animal barn out at the fairgrounds. Those bids will be coming in tomorrow afternoon. So if you look at our sheet here, on the first row there, we've got $1.548 million less all the things that we're paying for. We've got an unencumbered balance of 1.549 million. So we've done some scenario planning here for different costs per square foot. So this is going to be a 4,700 square foot building. You can see that in C8. And then you go down column C, and those are the different costs per square foot. So if you go down to the bottom line, line 17, with a 10% contingency, that's how much money we would have left in the 351 account, given the different scenarios. So you see, if the bids come in at $300 a square foot, we'll be at $1,334 deficit. On out to, if it comes in at $375 or $350, we'd be at a $259,000 deficit. So what we're asking is we can borrow money to bridge us over if these bids come in higher than our unencumbered balance in the 351 account. We did have a meeting with the prospective contractors. We had 7 contractors show up at the meeting, which was really great. So hopefully it'll be a very competitive bidding process. But if these bids do come in higher than our balance in the 351 account, we're asking if we could borrow the funds from the county and pay that money back over time. Does anybody else have anything from the Fair Board there to add to that?
So I'm just going to, from a standpoint of the legislation 780,
Mhm.
Senate Bill 780, it has bipartisan support at this point. Pretty optimistic that they will remove the cap and everything will go to 1%. And so if they do that, we can probably, meaning the Fair Board could, if say it comes in at 325, they could pay that back within like a couple of years. And we would do the interest, things like that. And if 350, it would be, a few, a little bit more than that. But what happened was, and Mark can explain this a little bit better, when we started this project 2 years ago, to get to this point, the 250 a square foot of what we had budgeted for was valid.
Sure.
And so it's just incrementally going up. And so we don't want to miss out on this free money that we have, and we made.
That is a huge cap.
I'm sorry, what was that, Angela?
I
That
think.
was not me.
Oh, okay.
Heidi, there you go.
Okay, so,
Congratulations, by the way.
yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. They want to continue. The project we have is, I mean, it's a great project. And so anyway, and in talking to Christina Cook, that there is a way that we could maybe take it out of the contingency or the general fund contingency. And then we would just do a thing back and we would transfer it and then transfer the money back as we got it.
Or we'll have to identify
Right.
some area that, yeah, that we could do. Contingencies easy because it's there, but that is also our savings for the 3 months.
Yeah.
Yep.
Taxes, but.
Yep.
Knowing that. I think you're gonna probably wanna get your bids back, so we really know for sure. I know on the sheriff's jail, you know, emergency operations center extension, there's huge high. So I'm hoping that you are within that 300.
And what prompted these numbers is actually a phone call to Christina at one point and to verify these numbers on the top portion.
Mhm.
And she said something about the sheriff's project.
Right, yeah.
Which, you know, that was bothersome to hear those kinds of numbers. So I said, it's only prudent to lay these numbers out in terms of what ifs and being able to fund it and not catch the commission off guard.
Right, yeah.
We want you guys to be as proactive as you can in making this go forward. So these numbers represent a range of outcomes, which we'll find out tomorrow. And
Okay.
once we find out tomorrow, you know, we'll be back with
that.
well, you'll probably hear it anyway,
Sure.
but it will be more formal
Okay.
for your next meeting 2 weeks from now on the numbers and our potential award of the contractor. But want to get this out there so that
Yeah.
it's not a surprise and we don't end up dragging our feet through the time trying to figure out what to do. Better off to do it now because things are not going to get any less expensive. And the contractors at the pre-bid, when I mentioned $300 a square foot, no one raised their eyebrows or shook their head saying, no, that isn't going to happen.
Okay.
They understood it. They said, well, and the architect was saying, you could be 300,000, but be prepared for a little more. It's a
Okay.
simple project, simple design. You have the design in your document. So it should work out. And the rest of the fair board here and Ron can speak to the need of the building over time. It's just we've run out of space for a lot of things. So I'll let someone else speak if there's.
I was gonna say, I think, you know, we can probably figure something out and then, you know, when the project gets started and then and then you'll know more tomorrow, but then, you know, there's also potential other monies out there that you can go after once you have a better idea of what shortfall you're gonna be at, or,
Mhm.
you know, it looks like the music festival's looking really good. And, yeah, it might be such a thing that you can do a similar kind of a thing, or.
We call it the small animal building edition. You know, I've been on the fair board for 20 some years. Well, recently transitioned.
Right, sure.
Which I need to declare a
Conflict.
potential conflict of interest in this project with my former employer. But ever since I got on there, the small animal program for youth
Yeah.
was just a problem every year. You know, how are we going to house them? How are we gonna, where do we put them in? A tent over here, a tent over
Right.
there? Can we fit them in here? And it's just really been a problem until we were able to secure these funds. We really didn't have a chance
Yeah.
of really taking care of the problem. And now we can.
Yeah.
Plus a few other storage issues.
Well, and the improvements that you've done, I think will, at the fairgrounds, will allow you to bring in more money.
Should,
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is kind of a
so-
medium, so it's kind of like between the small meeting room, versus the huge event
Mhm.
center. This kind of gives a little bit more space. It can also still be a meeting room, but it can be like 50 to 75 people rather than, you don't have to keep the huge big room. We don't have to, so.
Well, and I think small animals is kind of the entry into young people getting involved, so it's important.
okay.
But,
Did you need my name and address?
I
oh, you
got
better put it
Did I
in for
hear
the
that?
record.
Mark Johnson, 18820 Alpine.
All right.
I heard that early in the.
Thank you.
Yeah,
From my standpoint, I think we ought to help them. If depending on how much it goes over their budget of 300, we ought to maybe look and see if there's a way we can do that
mhm.
and work with Christina Cook on that.
Yeah, we can look through and see, and we kind of need to go through. the
And it would
budget
be, they're
process
not
too.
asking for a freebie.
Well, and that's my concern is I don't want to nail you with 10% interest either to pay it back, so,
we'll figure out
Well,
something.
this is, this project, or time right now,
yeah.
Yeah.
with the dollars we do have to get this done, it's like, we won't have this opportunity again.
Right. Well, and like, that's what I mean, is like, if we can find some other money to finish the project that you don't have to pay interest back on, will be better too.
That- even
So,
better.
Oh,
so
we'll
let's
keep
try to
looking.
let's try to get to the end of the line and push it out with the money that we've got as far as we can, and then.
We'll find out in the next couple of days
Yeah.
where it falls, but we just want to make sure that you
No, and I
know about
appreciate
it.
you bringing it early on so we
Yeah.
can have time enough to work the problem for sure, instead of just,
All right,
we signed the contract and now we're out of money. So, which happens. So,
all right.
no, I do appreciate you bringing it. Thank you.
Okay, so that's really it's not an actionable item.
Hmm.
correct? Okay, the next one is,
Yeah, who wants to?
I'll speak for Angela
Okay,
today.
that's what I was gonna ask. It caught me. Are we skipping OSU quarterly invoice?
Not yet. That's after this one.
Who's doing it?
Me.
Christina.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so on the concert music contracts, I think these are the last two that we finally got going. For the fair, okay, so we have for the Baker County Fair, so this is not part of the Music Fest. This is a 5,000 contract for Precious Bird, so they'll be our entertainment during the fair. And then the other one is the Baker County Summer Jam, $6,000 contract for Mickey and the Motor Cars.
What's the first one? I'm
Precious Bird.
confused. And that's for the fair.
Yeah. For the
Oh,
fair.
I got,
Yep.
okay, okay.
Yep.
Precious Bird.
Yep, and I think that I'm right, Angela, the Mickey and the Motor Cars is the last one for your summer jam. Hello?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, okay, all righty. I'm sorry. So anyway, so I would like to make a motion that we approve the contracts for the Baker County Fair for $5,000 for the Precious Bird and the Baker County Summer Jam, $6,000 contract for Mickey and the Motor Cars.
Hang on, is the motor cars, is that just the down payment?
I thought that was the full.
That'd be nice. 6,000. Mickey and the motor cars,
$6,000 flat guarantee.
flat guarantee.
And then the Precious Bird is the 5,000 for the contract.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do them two separate.
You want to do that separate?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just,
All right,
I don't
I'll
know, I just feel like
Okay.
it's two different events, so.
okay. So
Yeah.
we're going to restate the first motion. I move to approve the $5,000 contract for Precious Bird for the Baker County Fair, August 4th through the 8th, 2025.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
So then I'll make a motion to approve the contract for $6,000 for Mickey and the Motor Cars for the Baker County Summer Jam, August 22nd, 23rd, 2025.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, OSU quarterly invoice report.
Angela's on here too, but basically what we're asking is how, and everybody else is not.
Thank you.
We got it, all of you yesterday. Several years ago, 3, maybe 4, the commissioners asked to see the quarterly financials of OSU
Yeah.
and how they're progressing through the year. It helps with us predicting their ending fund balance, beginning fund balance, to keep an eye on to see if we're really stacking up an ending fund or if we're within reason. It also gives the commissioners an idea of how they're spending their funds. What areas, is it in travel or is it mostly in?
Because we don't actually see that in the bills, correct?
Right, because the money is budgeted in general fund and it's around $150,000-ish,
Okay.
180 maybe. We transfer that on a quarterly basis, 4 quarterly payments to OSU.
Okay. And
All the
then they
bills are
pay the
run
bill.
through
Okay.
OSU. Numerous years ago, not to muddy it up, but numerous years ago, they were allowed to have some money here at Baker County and some money on campus. But that turned out to be difficult to negotiate. So it all goes back to campus now and campus pays all the bills.
Okay.
So this gives you guys transparency and an
Yeah.
idea of how they're spending it.
Okay.
Also, like Michelle and I talked this morning, it also gives you an idea of that if you were wanting to promote certain program or more travel or more educational, you will have the ability to see what it
Yeah.
looks like before and then maybe direct funds to a certain area.
One of the things that
Yeah.
we talked about really quickly was Master Gardeners. Master Gardeners basically has their little piddling amount that they collect, when they do their classes. And that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of support from campus for that one because Mindy is a volunteer position. if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm just using that one as an example. But again, if you want to, increase their travel, you want
Training.
Will to do more, you want Jake to do more.
Mhm.
So,
That's kind of the thing I've been pushing since I got in, was more outreach to the smaller communities, and I think they've been doing it.
they've all been doing a great job. This is last year's stuff. This is just.
Yeah,
right.
this was just an example. And then, so what Angela provides is basically this grid right here. And then I took and compounded on that, looking at the time period she reported and progressing it out for 12 months to see where she might be at the end of the year in an estimate, and then determining where the carryover balance would be potentially. And in the past, we've set a carryover limit of about 40,000
Mhm.
just in case for the ability for them to maneuver
Right.
in case. Or
Is that
else-
like a 3-month, close to a 3-month, 2 months, 3 months carryover
It's-
type thing?
For them, it's probably, it's
Or
about a
maybe
quarter,
A
maybe.
quarter, 4 months? Okay.
Yeah. Carryover, which is helpful. I know during COVID, times were crazy at that point in time. And when things came down fast. And I know she was one of the ones that were caught up in that to where the commissioners had to say, we're not funding anything past this point. Well, that's difficult when you have staff on board and stuff on their side. So that gives us a little buffer too, in case of a tragedy that may happen there. There would be some funds there to at least give some notice.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So.
So the
quarterly-
question is, and Angela had just asked, are we going to continue to require to do that? And my recommendation would be yes. That way you guys can just keep an eye on it, and then also, have the ability to.
And it also
increase
kind of helps
programs.
at budget time too, then if you keep it
Right.
on a
Yeah,
quarterly
'cause-
basis, then you keep up with it on budget.
Yeah.
So,
No, I'd prefer to keep it quarterly, and it looks good.
And there may be a little lag on the quarterly as far as, we may get it yeah, right. In December-ish for the first quarter. I mean,
For the-
there's
yeah,
some,
yeah.
there's some timing issues there too, getting information back from campus and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, but yeah, Angela and I work well together. on
So
this.
like, so we're into, so like maybe at the next meeting, we might get through the end of December. So we could get, do we have one? Have we done one recently? That I just haven't seen.
The first quarter just came to me, billing came to me, but the financials weren't attached because that was the question.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
so and Angela said she would be able to.
So she
to
could do like
provide
for the
those.
first half. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So I would imagine in a week or so, or
the
Angela
next
could
meeting.
probably
Okay.
have something together for us.
If she feels better.
Yeah, if she feels, she's not allowed to die, so there you go.
Christina,
Yes, ma'am.
I do have I do have your, the sheet you're looking at. Sorry, my brain's done. I actually have that updated. So,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
have second quarter invoice, so I can get that sent over in the next, well, today.
Okay, that would be great. And then I'll just forward it on to the commissioners.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you, Angela.
Yep, thank you.
Get to feeling better.
Yeah,
I've heard that influenza A is going around.
it is
bad.
awful.
Nasty.
I
Yeah.
had to go help a friend yesterday, lives around the corner, get food in.
Yeah.
So far, the baby was coughing last night. I'm like, no, but everybody seems to be okay at my place, but this is ugly.
Yeah, it is. It's quite widespread. So hopefully everybody's taking care of each other.
Mhm.
I think I'm done.
Okay.
You guys
Well, we
good?
have another 15
Oh, did you
minutes.
vote? I don't know.
Oh,
Do we need to vote
do
on
we need
that?
to vote?
No, I guess not. You can just direct me to direct
I'll
Angela
just-
and you just directed her, so there.
There you go.
Like street cops,
Yeah,
just
Exactly.
directing traffic. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to vote on,
Okay.
just continue on the good work.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got 15 minutes, you're gonna hang out.
Okay.
I'm busy. Sorry.
All right. So we're
Go
gonna,
make up for-
all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Dang it.
So
We're gonna save a bunch of time on the back end, just remember.
Oh,
that.
I know. So, so I'm assuming that everybody's coming for the ASA at 10:30.
I may be nobody.
So do you want me to stop the recording?
Yeah, do that. And
Okay,
then
so you
we'll-
want to take, say
Yep.
we'll take break?
We're gonna take a 15-minute recess. Back at 10:30.
Yikes. Okay, so now.
Yeah, that's it.
This is mute.
You are on, I bet she did.
right. Thank you.
All right, we will come out of recess, go into regular session, and I will open public hearing. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2025-01 in the matter of amending the Baker County Ambulance Service Area Plan, regulating ambulance service providers. This public hearing is now open. Jason, are you on? Can you hear us?
I'm on. I can hear you.
All right, well, we can hear you. Can you give us a summary of this ordinance?
Boy, the summary of the ordinance, I guess just goes over the updates and what we've been doing, I guess, with this to have ambulance services in the county, trying to make sure that we are able to handle or incorporate into the planning and that type of stuff. The ability to add additional emergency providers if needed was kind of the main change and the main focus on this update here recently. But I'm sorry, I don't actually have the ordinance in front of me in my truck here. I'm in LeGrand at a shelter training, so I apologize for that. That's why I don't turn my camera. I'm just sitting out here in the rain, but in the truck.
Okay. And then there was added language that the Oregon Health Authority had asked for. Is that correct?
That is correct. They had, in order for them to then approve our approved plan, they had requirements that we need to address, and then they had some recommendations, in which we did all of those. The only one that we did not do was they wanted a map with the city names added into it, and the map was showed response times. And with that, it just kind of cluttered that map up. Every other map has all the cities on that type of stuff on it. Maybe in a future update of those maps, I can get that all fit in. I just didn't want to add clutter to that one. So that was only a recommendation. It wasn't a have to.
Okay, but we did include those.
Yes.
Yeah, all the maps are in there. All the other requirements and recommendations that they had were addressed in the ordinance and the plan.
All right. I think, Kim, does that satisfy?
Yeah, sure. So, you've looked at this once in January already. You set it for a work session, and at the work session, Jason went through each of the changes and provided you with a document that referenced every page that had any change on it. And then it was set for today. That's related to the ASA plan. And then it was set for today for first reading of the ordinance, and the ordinance is an exhibit in the plan. So
Very good.
that's what you're doing here today.
All right.
I do have one question. Did we get some updated mutual aid agreements yet, Jason? I know you were working on those.
No, I've reached
Okay.
out to them, letting them know, like, we need your boards to sign these on the EMS side. And at the last fire defense board, we did hand out signature pages to them to take back to their board members as well. So they are working on those, but we don't have anything signed by everybody yet to be in there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I did want to mention the letter for the OHA. We approved that earlier in the session.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With us getting a copy.
Oh, and that contingent on us getting a copy of the agreement between the city and then just
Pioneer.
and Pioneer. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we just want to have one on file to refer back to. So otherwise, I have to call you. All right, I'll now open this up for public testimony in favor of the changes to the ambulance ASA ordinance. Anyone in the audience?
I'll just say real quick, Barry Murphy, City Manager of Baker City. We are in support of this. It'll fill a need that we see based on some of the times that Pioneer isn't able to meet all the demand based on having 2 ambulances out already, and we've got qualified folks. So we're supportive, and we appreciate the partnership with the county.
Thank you.
And I just want to add real quick that, the ASA committee did review it as well, and there were no comments. So they all recommended moving forward with it. So
Very good. Thank you. Anyone online for testimony in favor of the changes for the ordinance? All right, seeing none, I will now ask for public testimony in opposition to changes to the ordinance. Seeing none. I think we're ready.
You're ready for me then?
Yeah,
Okay. I move to approve the first reading of the ordinance number 2025-01 in the matter of amending the Baker County Ambulance Service Area Plan, regulating ambulance service providers.
I will second. Any further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Can I get a motion to continue the hearing?
I move to continue the hearing to March 5th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
I concur. I'll second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And then you need to do that.
Yeah. The county will continue to receive written testimony about the proposed ordinance until March 4th, 2025 at 4 p.m. Written testimony can be emailed to